Welcome into Titans Today. I am your host, Brett Alper. We are just about, 18 or 17, I'm not good at math, but only a few weeks away from the NFL draft. And before the draft, we're going to go over the Tennessee Titans depth charts after the first waves of free agency and what they should improve before the NFL draft. Now, I'm going to ask you guys, before we get into it, just like the video. The Texans Today host Jeremy Chugg said we couldn't get 200 likes on the video. I've been looking through every single one of these videos, and we have not yet gotten 200 likes on the video. So if you could, please hit that thumbs up icon. If you like the show, if you love the Titans, hit that thumbs up icon and we can get started. Okay, let's get started with, of course, the most important position in football, the quarterback. And this QB depth chart ahead of the NFL draft is not that great. You got Will Levis and then two backups, Brandon Allen and Tim Boyle. But come the NFL draft, I am expecting a new one to be on that roster, and that guy is Cam Ward. We saw yesterday the Titans canceled their private workout with Shedeur Sanders, and that just speaks volume that the Titans, they've locked in. They've checked off the boxes. Cam Ward is going to be the quarterback of the Titans' future. You're not going into next season with those three guys on the roster. I think Tim Boyle is probably one of the worst NFL quarterbacks in history. I mean, I don't understand why he's still on a roster. Brandon Allen, solid backup. But we saw what we had. We saw what we had from Will Levis in 2025. Do we really want to go back into another season of that? Do we really want to sit there and see him just put his hands on his head, just make dumb mistakes? No, we don't. And Chad Brinker, the president of football operations, he said this on the QB room. For us heading into this camp, we at least want 3 quarterbacks. Well, you have. Preferably 4 if we can. Depending on what we do in this draft, if we go quarterback or we go another position, wink, they're going quarterback. At least we have 3. If we don't draft one, maybe we could look for a 4th, and then we'd have 4 quarterbacks going into preseason. Well, he said 4 so many times, and that just tells me that they're drafting a quarterback. There is just no way in hell that you're going into the 2025 season with Will Levis as your quarterback. Mark it off. Cam Ward's going to be on there, and I think Will Levis is also going to be a solid backup. Now let's go into the Tennessee Titans running back depth chart. I'm not putting a 1 or 2 on this. Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears are kind of a 1A, 1B type of back. And then you have Julius Chestnut at 3. If you look at the stats, they're both Tony Pollard, clear running back 1. But these 2 guys are speed backs. If you look, they can both catch passes out the backfield, 41 receptions and 30 receptions, 67 yards per game, 26 for Tyjae Spears. Both not that many touchdowns. 1,000 yards for Tony Pollard. He came into the Titans from the Cowboys. Solid year. But if you look at all the successful teams in the NFL, they have a speed back and then they have a power back. Look at the Lions, for example, with Gibbs and Montgomery. They call it Sonic and Knuckles. You have that ground and pound guy, and then you have the speed guy. This running group has speed but not strength. I would love to add a power back. If you still had Derrick Henry in the backfield with Tony Pollard, this would be perfect. Now, you could do that in the NFL draft. There are tons of running backs. You're obviously not going to get that one guy that is everybody's draft board, Ashton Genty, who is an absolute freak, but there's still plenty of running backs. And you have Quidshot Judkins, who I think he could be available in the second round if you want to go there. Cam Skattebo, he's a bully. Ollie Gordon, very underrated. Devin Neal, Kansas, absolute dog. And Travion Henderson, another Ohio State running back. If you're going to go running back in this draft, you have to get a power back. And there's also a lot of top free agent running backs remaining. I was surprised when I saw Nick Chubb. I know has a lot of injuries, but J.K. Dobbins, downhill runner, Cam Akers, downhill runner, Jamal Williams. This is a team that you need to find a power back. Now, with all these guys, I personally wouldn't go with free agency. They're all on the down end of their career, especially probably the top guy, Nick Chubb and J.K. Dobbins, both coming off insane injuries. So I would go young, get a guy that you can develop, get a guy that you can bring in and kind of complement Tyjae Spears or Tony Pollard. Now for the biggest one that I think you need to in the draft besides quarterback, and that's wide receiver. You have Calvin Ridley, Van Jefferson, and Treylon Burks. Treylon Burks. This group is terrible besides Calvin Ridley. Van Jefferson, he hasn't had a great year since he was with the Rams when they won the Super Bowl. This group has to be improved. I don't understand why we keep going with this. I mean, you have your second guy, Treylon Burks, who's just, he can't stay on the field. 5 games played, 11 games played, 11 games played. This man has yet to play more than 12 games in a season. You need to find somebody in this draft that can complement Calvin Ridley. You have your deep threat. Now you go with a slot guy, and there's one guy that's been jumping up on draft boards. Phil Simms had this guy as his second, number 2 wide receiver prospect in the draft, and it's Kyle Williams. 5'10", my height. 70 receptions, almost 1,200 yards, a speedy wide receiver. I think he'd be perfect for this team. I had him in my mock draft, and ESPN, they had him in his mock draft in the 4th round. I don't know if he's going to go in the 4th round with him jumping draft boards. You have to just find a wide receiver that is going to help a guy that you're going to draft, who I think it's going to be Cam Ward. You have to find a guy that is going to help him develop in his first year. You don't want Cam Ward to go in just having Calvin Ridley to throw to. We don't know if Treylon Burks is going to stay healthy. You got to find one. Now we go to the offensive line, and this is a well-improved offensive line. You gave Dan Moore Jr. that insane contract, but that helps J.C. Latham go back to his original position at right tackle. You signed Kevin Zeitler, Peter Skoronski, and Lloyd Cushenberry. This is a great offensive line, and that was kind of Mike Borgonzi's top priority when it was in free agency. If you look at all the moves that he's made, it is they are going to protect the quarterback. Dan Moore Jr., you gave him a ton of money, over $80 million. Solid with the Steelers, but you allowed 12 sacks and 5 penalties. 66.2 pass blocking grade, but he is very durable. But then you signed the veteran coming off the Lions, and he was protecting Jared Goff. I mean, look at his run blocking grade. 87.2 overall, 86.8. Only 5 sacks allowed, 2 penalties. That was a great signing. I do like the Dan Moore signing. I just wish it wasn't so much money, but when you have that much cap space, what else are you going to do with it? Me personally, I'd still go after a guard. I mean, Zeitler is late 30. He's up there in age, but he can be a great veteran. You should draft a guard to help this roster. So once Zeitler retires, you have someone to come in and take his spot right away. Now let's go into the tight end position. You have Chig Okonkwo. I can't pronounce your full name, Chig. I'm sorry. Josh Wiley, and then David Martin Robinson. Chig, he's been a very solid, underrated tight end. 50 catches in his last 2 years, and he's been durable. Unlike Treylon Burks, Okonkwo has played every single game the last 3 seasons. I still think that he can be a very good tight end. When you get a good quarterback, that's finally something that is a boost. So when you have Cam Ward thrown to you, and you know that rookie quarterbacks, they love tight ends. Look at Caleb Williams. He threw it to his tight end all the time. Drake May, throw it to the tight ends. Rookie quarterbacks love tight ends. I could see Okonkwo getting a real boost in his 4th season. He's still young. He's durable. This is where you kind of get into your prime. I really think that he could have a breakout year. So I'm going to ask you guys, if you want or if you think Okonkwo can have a breakout year, like the video. We're going to have a new quarterback thrown to him. It's not going to be Will Levis. It's not going to be Mason Rudolph. It's going to be a rookie quarterback. I'm excited. Coming up, before we get into any more, got to tell you about our sponsors. We're going to have the defensive depth charts coming up, but first, I got to tell you about our sponsor of today's video, and it is Fanatics. You can get your Titans draft caps. Yeah, we're less than 3 weeks away from the NFL draft. Chatsports.com/Titans draft hats. You can get them. These are the exact ones that the players are going to be wearing. When that first pick comes on the board and shakes or hugs Mr. Goodell's hands, he's going to be putting on that cap, so you can get the same ones that the players will be wearing. You can get them blue, white. You can get one with the little emblem of a guitar. It's Nashville, baby. You got to love it. Chatsports.com/Titans draft hats. If you don't want to type it all out, I hate typing out stuff. If you support the channel, buy one today. We'll have that in the comments of today's video. All right, let's go to the defensive line. I'm going to separate the defensive tackle and the nose tackle because I think the Titans are going back to a 4-3. So we're going to separate the defensive line and edges, and we have Tavondre Sweat and Jeffrey Simmons. Solid guys. I think this is going to be a great defensive line. Mike Borgonzi, he's also kind of bolstered up his defense. That was the second priority for him. And now we can go to the edge. And this is where it really starts to get interesting. Dre'Mont Jones, that was your big signing in the offseason on defense. He had a very down year in 2024, 28 tackles, 4 sacks, but I see a career surgeons back for him. The Seahawks, they decided that they were going to weirdly change up his entire position. He's on the outside. The Seahawks put him in the interior, which I don't really saw. And you could see his stats from the past couple years. Like 2024, just a massive tackle decline. 4 sacks, lowest in the last 4 years. 2022 and 2021, you're playing on the edge, 6.5 sacks, 5.5 sacks. I expect the Titans to put him back on the edge, and I could really see him just up in that and going off in a new season. Now we got the interior linebackers. You signed Cody Barton, you still have Otis Reese, and Cedric Gray. Cody Barton, I really, really enjoy his signing. His stats are great, but you can also get a guy. You can never have enough linebackers. If you look at the Tennessee Titans draft picks, you got 8 of them. You're obviously going to use that first pick as a tight end. Second round, that is where you could go with a linebacker, or you can go with an edge rusher. Landon Jackson? Excuse me? Yes. I think you could go with a linebacker in the second round or the fourth round. You don't really want 5th or 6th round. I would probably go guard there. But still very solid defense going into 2025. And then you have the cornerbacks. L'Jarius Sneed, Jarvis Brownlee Jr., and Roger McCreary. These guys are really good, but they're also really, really young. The Titans don't have anybody under the age or over the age of 29. This is a very, very young defensive back core, and I think you could get I think you need a veteran corner just to help this team. And there's one corner that I saw that's somehow still a free agent. It's Russell Douglas. I mean, 58 tackles, 5 passes batted down. You could get a veteran cornerback with him, and I think it would help an absolute ton. I mean, if you look at his stats, they're still really, really solid, but I'm not 100% sure why he's not signed yet. I think that for him with the Buffalo Bills leaving it, coming to the Tennessee Titans, it would be very solid to go and get a veteran corner. Now, if we go all the way down to the safeties, you signed your big one of the day. Xavier Woods. You still have Amani Hooker, and you got 2 guys. Xavier Woods coming off a career year. I really like this, but I would also like to see the Titans draft a safety. This is where you signed a veteran guy in Xavier Woods. But if you can get a safety in the draft to kind of get some new shape in this defense, it'd be very solid. Overall, I could see the Titans competing in 2025. The AFC South is not great. Not great at all. You're going to be battling the Colts, who are going to have Daniel Jones at quarterback. Then you have the Jags, who we really don't know if Trevor Lawrence is going to be very good, and they're having a whole new coach. And then the Texans. The Texans are going to be your only true competition. You improve this roster enough, and with you guys facing these 2 divisional opponents twice a year, you have a chance to possibly maybe make a playoff run. I think this team would be much better in specifically a weak AFC South. So before we go, I'm going to ask you guys, how many games will the Titans win in 2025? There's 17 of them now. We'll find out the schedule coming up in, I'd probably say, a month. The schedule usually comes out in May. I'm guessing it now. I'm going to go with 7 or 8. Maybe try to go for the 7 seed, but it's not. You don't want to make the playoffs in year 1. It's a rebuilding, and get to the top. First, you got to start off with a new quarterback. That's all we have for it on Titans Today. Don't forget to subscribe, youtube.com/Titans Today. I'm your host, Brett Alper, and as always, tighten up.